Hello again, this is News Today. Now, the biggest drug storage and distribution outlet in Ghana has been engulfed by fire Tuesday morning. The facility belongs to the Ministry of Health. Drugs for Ghana are stored at this facility before distributed to various health facilities. Thick, dark smoke scars the Tema heavy industrial area skyline as firefighters with Ghana Fire Service hurry around the scene at the central medical stores. Let's get some more. Tony Goodman is PR of the Ministry of Health, and he's joined me over the telephone. Hello, Tony.
Yes, my sister.
What more can you tell us about this fire in Tema?
Yes, because let me greet your viewers first and then say that, yes, it is true that is what is happening at the Central Medical Store. The Central Medical Store is where we have our drugs stored and other health commodities stored for onward distribution to facilities across the country. And as I speak to you this afternoon, we heard that there is some fire that was set behind the facility and has caught up with that particular facility. And as I speak to you, the fire services trying hard to put that fire under control. It's not good as for us now, but we hope that so we will know the cause of the fire and be able to report adequately.
How does this affect drug distribution in the country?
Yes, if the extent should be that bad, it is affect drug distribution. It's going to affect our facilities or hospitals in the country, because that is the only point that government and other people who give drugs to facilities store their facility because of the kind of temperature you need to store drugs. That is where we do some of those things. So after that is done, it goes to the hospital. So if you have this current situation, it is going to go a long way to have some negative impact on healthcare delivery. And we hope that if this fire will not have the damage too severe that will affect us.
What kind of drugs are stored in this particular storehouse?
Any other drug, about 80% of drugs that go to the hospital, that you need to, when it comes to infusion, malaria drugs, HIV drugs, from any part of any medicine you need to think of. Any medicine that goes to hospital comes from that, because of the kind of storage they have. The facility that has some kind of storage that is internationally approved.
I see. How much do you think this could cost us?
No, off my head, I can't tell you the cost, but as I speak to you, it is a facility that has a lot of medicines or other health commodities in there. When you talk about mosquito nets for this hang-up campaign that we started some months ago, those items are all there. So it means that you have a lot of items there when it comes to hospital beds. Talking about all health commodities are kept actually.
Very well. So
yes.
Obviously, it's going to horribly affect drug distribution across the country. What is the contingency plan that the Ministry of Health has for situations like this?
That is why I said earlier that we would have to know the extent of damage first after this fire is put under control. That is where you can say that this is the extent of damage and this is what you need to add as a stock measure. So let's wait and see what happens after this.
Okay, well, this is how I'm looking at it. That in the event where we lose drugs to situations as this, out of our hands, the ministry has a plan to stock the hospitals even before we are able to handle what may have gone into the fire. Is there a plan of that sort?
This is an obvious question. If you don't have drugs, what you do is that you have to get drugs, because that is what you need to save lives. So wherever you get, you have to get it. So when we get there, we'll be able to deal with that situation.
I see. Thank you very much. We'll leave it here for now.
Thank you, my sister.
Tony Goodman is PR for the Ministry of Health. We'll get in touch with our reporter on the ground and find out exactly what is happening at the Central Drugstore in Tema. In the meantime, we stay in Tema. The port city of Tema can boast of many things. It has Ghana's largest seaport, home to many industries and, of course, well-planned communities. However, one of the communities that is not quite there as far as the industrial hub standard is concerned is Tema Newtown, locally known as Mahia. Joy News' Adelaide Arthur has been finding out why the community is lagging behind.
Mahia is a Ghana word meaning a new place. The indigenous community earned its name after residents relocated there to make way for the construction of the Tema port. The area is occupied by predominantly Ghanaians.
Newtown forms small part of Tema, where the indigenes dominate because we were relocated from the Meridian Hotel area to this our present location. The communities were all farming areas where our forefathers were farming before it became necessary to construct the harbour.
Newtown consists of a Champon village, U area, Bankuman and Mahia. Though basic schools are common here, there is only one public senior high school. Established in 1991, the Mahia Senior High School has many needs. According to the senior housemaster Samuel Dugbe, the school lacks furniture, offices and staff bungalows. The school also has only one water tank to serve over 1,000 students and staff. Though majority are day students, a few live in hostels on campus. With the help of the Fishermen Association of Tema, a new dormitory is currently under construction. School authorities plan to gradually transform it into a boarding school. As a community that lies on the east coast of the country, Tema Newtown is home to the Eastern Naval Command. It can also boast of the largest fish market in the city. But fishmongers are unhappy about the state of business.
First, no, you compound, you know, 30,000, 3 Ghana cedis. And they had 10 Ghana cedis. No boy, I didn't. And my name, I didn't Sanka about you walk up, or for shame. Walk, these are now what the corner. What about what's the nominal when you be one chill? Into your pa manager, one moment no we are mobile. Not to told them my hair. Now you see your quiet and you be out about a
The traditional council is, however, worried about some fishing practices.
Now there's a fishing they call China, and the stories we hear about that China fishing is so disgusting. We are afraid. If the government do not come out to stop that practice in our seas, my brother, my sister, fishing will not be a business in Ghana anymore.
So which one is the China fishing? What do they do exactly?
They do pair trawling, and they catch a lot of fish, make selection, and then dump the rest. Waste, total waste.
Why do they dump the rest?
They will dump it. You see, they did certain species to export. That brings them a lot of foreign exchange.
Okay.
So if they put the pile on board, it will occupy space. They will short space for the local, the export fish. So to preserve the space, they will just make selection and dump the rest into the sea.
A Champon village is prone to floods, and residents are often attacked by thieves.
Sensutara, Sunifi Suredam, Noba, into Hanuina Yil. Into a problem with Obaya Quino. No one man may gota. Our Botumaco main winning.
A Hanoya Roberts, no behind. Into your slum, say, O Mumboy, no by light no my, not say a beer. No being home, no munchia, my woman power.
Not having a place of convenience in their part of town also makes it difficult for those in a Champon village.
A public toilet about Kuaha, into them a Champon village, this is a sentence of what way. We think says apart from the medical authority was decided while stopping into Chayoko Sropa, Meridian Srohon.
Having an upset tummy, especially in the night, is no fun for those living in a Champon village, as they would have to trek for more than 100 meters just to use this public toilet. Whether you're a child or an adult, you are charged 40 pesos for using this place. Ni Ama Somponu II, however, contends the attitude of homeowners is to be blamed for the absence of toilets in homes.
If we put in toilet facilities in our drawings, and then we'll convert them to bedrooms and hide them out, then return back to the assembly and tell them, come and give us toilets. I mean, what are we trying to do about? Because the assembly knows that the building permit that they approved for you was, a toilet was catered for. Yeah. That notwithstanding, the problem has been created already. So we need to solve them. Of late, VACO have assisted with 3 toilets. There are, private toilets also around.
He concedes there are challenges, but they are also doing their best to give the community a facelift. Though the traditional leaders are not too happy that their landmarks and customs that set them apart have been lost, the people of Tema Mahia, however, get satisfaction from the fact that the Tema port, for which they gave up their lands, has opened the country to foreign trade.
The Acting Director General of the Ghana Civil Aviation Authority, Abdullah El Hassan, says his outfit is collaborating with relevant stakeholders to secure property of the authority. According to him, measures will be put in place to ensure the right thing is done to confiscate lands from persons who are illegally occupying the authority's property. He spoke with my colleague Latif Idris on measures to ensure aviation safety here in Ghana.
Well, what we do, thank you very much anyway, we haven't cancelled flights. What we do is to provide weather update, provide visibility. So we provided visibility, and the airlines, in their own wisdom, decided to cancel or reschedule the flight. If you notice, as at 2:00 p.m. today, the visibility in Kumasi was about 600 meters, Takoradi was about 1,200 meters, and Tamale was 300, and Sunya 3,000. So we provide the visibility update. So anytime the airlines think that, well, based on what we have received, they can go, they go. We don't really cancel flights as a regulator. We don't say don't go. We just say visibility is this, and every airline, they have their policy of not flying if visibility goes below certain levels. But technically speaking, when visibility is below, it's around 200, then it is advisable they don't fly. So we just provide information for them to decide whether they can. 200 what? Meters, visibility, visibility. So if you look at Tamale, we went to Tamale, and even in the morning around 9, cars were driving using their headlights. So it means that visibility is poor. Then you cannot see ahead. So we will provide that update. Then the airlines will make a decision, and they will inform their customers or their passengers that, well, due to bad weather, we cannot go. It's not closure. It's not closure of the airport. We haven't closed the airport. The airport is still ongoing. And as I speak now, I'm sure the weather will be changing from, for yesterday in Tamale, it was around 200. Now it has improved to 300. So we haven't closed the airport. We provide update as and when it's necessary on the visibility. So where the airline thinks that they cannot land, they cannot move, then they will have to reschedule.
Yeah, you just mentioned that you only advise the airliners on their weather update. Is that all that you should do, or you should just take the responsibility of telling them that, okay, visibility is not clear, so don't fly?
No, we don't say that. It's not. They also know. The pilots themselves will not fly when you cannot see. It's not you have to crack the whip. No, you cannot say don't fly. We just say this is how it is. So whoever is going to pilot will know that, look, we cannot even fly. So they are not, they are experienced people. You don't need to crack the whip before they say they will not fly. Once you provide the update which is not safe, they will take the decision not to go.
But do you have the right to tell them that do not fly?
Well, we have the right. We have the right. If the safety, if they want to go and the safety is not there, we'll tell them, well, we're not comfortable with you going. But for now, we haven't really done that. We just advise that this is the weather, this is the visibility. So they will take their own call.
Okay, now let's come back to the cargo, Ethiopian cargo. Do we have the slightest idea as to the cause of the whole incident?
Okay, but like I said yesterday, we don't have the slightest idea for now. If we want to say something, we may be speculating. So I will advise that we spare ourselves the burden of trying to speculate. Now we have put together a 7-member team chaired by an experienced safety inspector, and we have given them up to 28th of next month to come out with their report. So I would plead, and we want to say that let's be patient and get their report. Yes.
And there are concerns about high-rise buildings and cranes very close to the airports. Are you concerned about that?
Oh, we are concerned. We are concerned about that.
What are you doing about the situation?
Okay, well, now what I will say is that now we have a committee handling those encroached land. That's why the last few weeks we declared here a security zone. So we're going to, the committee inter alia will be looking at those buildings and come up with appropriate recommendations.
And this committee that you've set up, how long?
No, we didn't set it up. GCA is part of the committee. Okay. So national security is part. Ghana Airport Company is part. Okay. So they are still working on.
So when should we expect closures on this?
No, I'm not. I don't know. But we have. I think they don't have much time, and I think that. I don't want to. We don't want to rush them into coming out with wrong conclusions. So let's give them time to work.
So as an authority, let's come back to the issue of encroachment and high-rise buildings. As an authority, why do you allow people to encroach before you then go back and try to?
Okay, it's a good point. It's a good point that you and I should be answering. When it comes from land, we have a lot of dynamics. So for now, let's put it aside, because we don't sell lands, we don't give out lands. So if somebody says I have land title in his building, what do you do? So now we are coordinating with the Lands Commission to really see what is the way forward on these land issues around the airports.
The bail application hearing of ace broadcaster Kwesi Cheidako has been adjourned to Thursday, January 15, 2014. That isn't all that happened in court. At the request of KKD's counsel, Tony Folsom, the case was heard in camera, but it's unclear why the request was made. Let's try and find out what could have gone on at the end of the day. Annie Osabuti was in court. He's here with me in the studio. Annie?
All right.
What more can you tell us about what happened in court today?
Well, okay, so like you said, this afternoon last week, the case was adjourned because the state prosecutor said they didn't receive the summons from KKD's lawyers on time to study the 13-page document, and therefore they needed a time so that they come to court and put out their argument across. Because for them, they're opposed to bail. Because remember that this particular case is being prosecuted on two fronts. There's one on the Cocoa affairs, and then this particular one, the Human Rights Court. The lawyers are there to seek bail for KKD. Okay, so this morning we went, and the case first was called, but it was stand down because the lawyer hadn't reported to the court at the time. So later when it was called, Tony Folsom requested that they move to have the case in camera. Okay. So when it came back, then it went out, and we all followed. So even the judge Mensan jokingly said that, oh, the journalists will have nothing to report today. So when there was a lot of what is going to happen, I tried speaking to Tony Folsom, he will not speak, So later then I decided to hang around at the court. Then I started hearing information that it appeared the lady has to withdraw the case. So I was like, okay, let me check out from some of the sources I have. And they indeed confirmed that the lady wrote a letter which was dated 12 January 2015, which she wrote to the Attorney General, and she copied the State Prosecutor as well, the Registrar of the High Court, and that of the Police High Command itself, that she's no longer interested in the case. Now, part of the reason she stated was the fact that if you look at when the case, what she described as an unfortunate incident broke in December 27th, and the way social media carried about without necessarily even respecting her feelings and all that. They appeared to sort of ripped her apart and were digging into bits and pieces of her and all of this without any sensitivity to it. And she also said that, that's according to that she wrote, which I have seen personally, that since the case happened, for example, she's been receiving a lot of counseling from her pastors at the church, and she believed that based on what she's received so far, she's going through a lot of trauma, and she believed that it's God who will give her the justice and the healing that she needs. She's about time that she put herself together and she can move on with her life. And also, again, she's not willing to come to the court because she has to be there in person. She's not prepared to do that in order to sort of give more or less like a cannon fodder for journalists or the press to continue feasting on the flesh. So based on some of these reasons, she feels that, you know, she's no longer interested in the case. So automatically the case will have to be adjourned on Thursday. So on Thursday, when we go back to court, then officially the lawyer for KKD and the district will officially inform the court that
then which court would hear this case where the lady is no longer interested in the case? Would it be the bail application human rights court or the Kaneshie court?
So essentially, if you're going to the court on the human rights, essentially because the case was there and they are going to seek for a bail application for him. Now here's the case that the person who is prosecuting the case said, I'm no longer interested. So automatically it means that the case is off the rack completely. So now we need to shift attention now to the Kaneshie court, where then there will have to be withdrawal charges and stuff like that,
I see. Would it be your phone now? Thank you very much, Annie. Anil Sabute joined us with fresh details from the court case where famed compere Kwesi Darko was earlier charged with rape of 19-year-old Erefe Orleans Thompson. Now, Erefe Orleans Thompson is decided that she's no longer interested in pursuing the case in court. Earlier, before now, KKD's bail application hearing was adjourned to January 15. Let's get some legal interpretation of this. Dr. Maurice Ampao is president for the Legal Advocacy Foundation. He's also a legal practitioner, and he's joined me over the telephone. Dr. Ampao.
Yes, madam.
What does this new development mean for this case?
Oh, what it means is that the substantive case has faced this kind of challenge, legal challenge, because you need the complainant as a key witness to prosecute the matter. Once the complainant has decided to withdraw, and then her reasons for withdrawal, it simply means that she cannot stand the stigmatization, the intimidation, and then the condemnation that society has put on her. But she believes in a conviction that she was raped. That's what she's trying to say. That she now goes to appeal to a higher authority, that is God Almighty, than to rely on a human institution where people have already started nailing her and exposing her to all kinds of public hatred and ridicule, and also trying as much as possible to demonize her. So it's a difficult case, and I think that the Kaneshie court, once the matter for withdrawal comes in, will then be challenged because prosecuting the matter will become difficult. But then it's up to the judge to take a decision. Either the judge will discharge or strike out the case for want of prosecution, or the judge will look at other evidence if those evidence can prove same. But I think that given
Dr. Ampao, this new development does not necessarily mean that Kwesi Darko is out of the woods.
No, at all. It's not conclusive because the substantive judge have to interrogate the letter of withdrawal. Therefore, the complainant must be in court for the judge to be actually ascertain whether it was voluntarily written and the reasons given so. And then if the judge would then listen to the Attorney General.
But Dr. Ampao, how about Erefe's reason in her letter to the court? As part of her reason, she said that she couldn't stand being in court and being seen after all the verbal molestation she has received on social media. If should be needed for the judge to proceed in whether to proceed in throwing out the case or not, how would that pan out with the reason she's given in her own letter?
Unfortunately, these reasons are so sympathetic. It can show the court that this is a woman who could not stand the pressure that was given to her, but she believes that she was raped. And it is a test case. Whether the court will look at the reasons and say that, look, these reasons are justifiable, or the court will say, like, look, we can go on with the case without the complainant. Because if there is no evidence to prove, if the prosecution has other evidence, you don't need only the complainant to prosecute. You can have other evidence to fall on, and you can prove your case beyond reasonable doubt, then that can happen. But given the reasons that the girl have given, they are not legally tenable. It shows that this is a girl who needs counseling. And the court can say that, look, I'm not admitting this letter. This letter was written under some kind of pressure from the girl. The girl's state of mind was not proper. Therefore, we are going to give this girl a time for counseling to take place, so that at least we can see whether she has overcome the trauma, so that he can now fully come and prove his case.
And the judge will need the court, the young girl in question in court to be able to do that. The question I'm asking is, this girl is worried about appearing in court, hence she gives it as reason for dropping the charges against KKD or her lack of interest in the case. Will the judge still go ahead to ask this young girl to appear in court?
No, what I'm saying is that you might have a judge who will say that you want the girl in person. If the girl will not even come and stand in open court, but in chambers.
I see.
And then interrogate her better to find out whether even the letter was written by her and whether it was under any duress whatsoever. And if the girl realized that the state of mind would say that he needs counseling, therefore he can adjourn the case for the girl to go through counseling. Because you see, the girl is still insisting that the rape did happen.
It did happen indeed.
Yes, he's saying that it did happen, but he cannot stand the stigma. That's the problem. So now society, whether this will be a test case, then what is going to happen is that women will be raped, and then all that men have to do is to put pressure on women. Are we going or coming?
I see. Now, here's the other confusion. We get a bit where you tell us that KKD may not necessarily be out of the woods yet, because then the judge could still want the case to go to its full length. But what happens to both courts now? You recall that the Human Rights Court is hearing the bail application. We have the district court also hearing the case proper. What happens to both hearings now? One has been adjourned January 15, one has been adjourned January 22. Now the girl says, I'm not interested. What happens?
I think both courts can decide to consider bail application for the accused person now, based on the development. So he can be granted bail, and then further investigations, and then further interrogations, and further help for the girl. You see, once the girl insists that he believes that she was raped, but he cannot stand the accusation and is appealing to God, it's a serious matter. It's a serious matter. And this is the test case for all of us. Whether people who are being raped in the country cannot stand the stigmatization, therefore they drop charges. Is this something that we should continue? Is it something that we should accept as a society? So I'm saying that the judge can decide that based on the letter. Because you see, the girl also felt that if you fail to prosecute the matter, she can be sued for malicious prosecution. She can be sued for malicious prosecution by KKD and defamation. So those who are advising her should be very careful. If she needs psychological help, psychiatric treatment, or clinical help, she should say so. Because the nature of the letter shows that this is a girl who is traumatized. This is a girl who is going through some emotional and mental pain and torture because of societal accusations and unnecessary attack on her. And so if that is the only reason, then I think that this case is not over.
I see. Dr. Ampao, we'll leave it here for now. Dr. Maurice Ampao is president of the Legal Advocacy Foundation. He is also a legal practitioner. Away from that very breaking news where Erefe Orleans Thompson has expressed a lack of interest in pursuing the rape charge against KKD in court any longer. We cannot look at some 300 children who are suffering from holding heart condition and are awaiting treatment at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital. 4-year-old Ryan just joined the list. He needs $6,000 to undergo surgery.
The tears of a mother afraid her son will die. It took 4 years after getting married for Zelia to finally have a successful pregnancy. In the 4 years after, her son Ryan has been her pride and joy.
Anytime I look at the child, I don't know where the tears is coming from, so I can't even control myself.
Your only son?
It all starts with a cough.
Anytime he's just coughing, you see that he will feeling so weak. That's how it started, and finally he can't speak. 1 month now, hasn't been in school.
Zelia cannot stand the thought of losing her only child.
People to help us to save our child life. I'm afraid. I'm afraid I'm also losing. I don't know what to say.
4-year-old Ryan is begging for $6,000 to help him stay alive. To save Ryan, kindly donate any amount to Multimedia Group Limited, Barclays Bank Circle Branch, account number 041-201-8095, account number 041-201-8095.
There's more to come here. Don't go away. You're watching News Today. Now, the World Bank Group has said gains from low oil prices in the international market can be substantial for developing countries. The information was contained in the latest edition of the Global Economic Prospectus of the World Bank Group. Crude oil prices have consistently declined on the international market for some time now. Currently, a barrel of crude is selling for about $48, down from the about $110. According to the World Bank Group, the decline reflects a confluence of factors, including several years of upward surprises in oil supply and downward surprises in demand, receding geopolitical risks in some areas of the world, a significant change in policy objectives of the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries, and appreciation of the US dollar. The World Bank Group further explained that though the relative strength of the forces driving the recent plunge in prices remain uncertain, supply-related factors appear to have played a dominant role. The World Bank believes that for policymakers in oil-importing developing countries, the fall in oil prices provides a window of opportunity to undertake fiscal policy and structural reforms, as well as fund social programs. The Ghana Revenue Authority raised 17.07 billion cedis in 2014, just about 3% shy of the 17.61 billion cedi target set for them. The GRA is, however, confident it will achieve the 21.98 billion target set for 2015, especially with the commencement of the 17.5% value-added tax on fee-based financial services.
The Ghana Revenue Authority, in an interaction with the media in Accra, was elated to have met over 90% of its revenue targets for 2014. They contend the collection is 29% over and above that of 2013 in spite of rising inflation, low profit margin for businesses, the energy crisis and other challenges the economy faced last year.
If in the face of these challenges you have mentioned, we have collected more than 97% of what we were programmed to collect, and that we are only 3% shy of our revenue target. It should tell you that when some of these difficulties are moderated, we will have revenue coming up even more strongly. And there are indications that these challenges are not permanent. Everything is being done about the energy issues, and we are also, as I've said, creating or coming up with more efficient ways of collecting the revenue. So we know that in the year 2015,
the tax on the fee-based financial services, which has stirred numerous concerns, remains one major way for the GRA to achieve its revenue target for this year.
A number of businesses, you always tell us all the time, small-scale businesses. But one thing is that however small they are, most of them have bank accounts of one kind or the other, on which they are charged the fees on their banking services. So when you are taxing the fee-based financial services, indirectly, you are also taxing those small businesses. The question we ask is, why are we happy paying, say, 10 cedis as a fee, but it is so painful for us to pay the 1 cedi 75 pesos in the form of tax to finance education, water, electricity, and so on.
Government is hoping to realize about 144 million Ghana cedis as revenue.